Please stand for the pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated for a moment of silence. If you would like to change your course selection for next year, the last day to do so is on the last day of school. No changes will be made after this day. Please go to the Counselor tab on the PHS website and fill out the change form. Be sure to stay tuned. ENN is next.
Today on Eagle Nation News. The town of Prosper is honoring veterans with a new memorial. Allison Wood sits down with some of the heroes of Prosper to hear their story. The Rushing Band is making a name for themselves across the nation. Coleman Meyer meets with the middle schoolers to hear about their upcoming event. One Rogers middle schooler has found his passion in golfing. Madeline Witt meets with Carson to hear about his recent accomplishments.
Good morning, Eagle Nation, and thank you for joining us. Today is Cinco de Mayo and also May 5th. I'm Parker Reynolds.
And I'm Landry Long. Congratulations, students. We are officially starting the final countdown to summer break.
Yes, only 13 more days left, and for our seniors, only 8. And speaking of school, earlier this week, a first grade student in Dallas was injured when the roof of a classroom at Vision K through 2nd grade charter school in the Pleasant Grove neighborhood of Dallas collapsed. The student was transported to the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery.
The Frisco Fair is canceled due to safety issues revolving around last weekend. Fox 4 reported that after 911 was called multiple times on Saturday, the city of Frisco has decided to revoke the fair's event permit license, effective immediately. According to the Frisco police, social media falsely depicted the incident last Saturday, saying there were no arrests or gunshot victims, but that 26 police spent over 2 hours resolving complaints. It was also noted that all of the emergency gates were locked during the time of the incident. The city of Frisco has said that anyone who has pre-purchased tickets for the fair should request a refund from the operator. Parker, my friends and I were actually at the fair a few hours before the shooting, and it's super scary to think about all of the families who were on rides during that time.
Yeah, I'm glad that y'all were safe, and it's awesome to see such a swift recovery from first responders. And it's not only important to honor the service of those who've served our country, but share their stories as well. Allison Wood sat down with 2 local veterans to find out more about what their service means to them.
Integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. These are the core values of the U.S. Air Force and the core values veterans Ken and Sharon Segan strive to embody in their day-to-day lives. The 2 first joined to ease the cost of college, motivated by their family's history in the military, but they ended up inspired to keep pursuing it when they met each other.
I went to the base education office at Grand Forks Air Force Base, North Dakota, to take the Air Force officer qualifying test. There was a woman standing just outside the test room door, and I thought she was there to administer the exam. And so we began talking, and found out she was there to take the exam also.
We did the exam for the first part of the day, and then we went to lunch, and we were both shaking. We were nervous. It was one of those things, you met somebody and you just really want to keep doing things with them, so we went out to dinner, gone to movies, and we were pretty inseparable at that point.
Only 2 weeks after meeting, Ken proposed and the 2 got married. When they started their family, they made sure that their kids grew up to be disciplined and well educated.
We have 8 children. 4 of them attended United States Military Academy at West Point. West Point was established in 1802, and since that time, well over 200 years, there have only been 10 families in the history of this country that had 4 children graduate from West Point, and we're the 8th of those. As a parent, that's very satisfying.
They've now been married for 51 years, not only continuing their legacy through their children, but also having Ken's name as one of many honored on Prosper's Veteran Memorial.
It makes me proud. I mean, to know that you're being patriotic, it's just knowing you're doing something worthwhile, and it's a really good opportunity.
It's a proud legacy that's gone on for a number of years, going back in American history back to the 1860s. We have 18 grandchildren, and I hope that the example that we set for them by having served in the armed forces of the United States, that maybe some of them will be inspired to also serve.
Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Allison Wood.
The Prosper Veteran Memorial is currently under construction in Frontier Park. The memorial will honor the service of veterans like the Seagans.
I am looking forward to tracking the progress of the construction, but I'm also excited to find out more about some new thrilling movies and how the crazy Met Gala outfits have taken over social media. Christina Krasnova lets us know in this week's Talent Talk.
The Prosper ISD archery teams competed at the NASP Western National Tournament over the weekend in Utah. PHS finished 3rd out of 36 teams. Sydney Robinson finished in the top 10, and Andrew Hedges received the 2023 On Target for Life Superhero Award. This award is given for the volunteer who makes an outstanding positive impact on the team. Andrew was selected for being the captain of the PHS archery team and for volunteering as an assistant coach for the Hayes Middle School team. The PHS archery team scored high enough to attend the Open Championship Tournament in Myrtle Beach in June.
All over my TikTok, I've been seeing people rate Met Gala outfits from 1 to 10, and honestly, it's pretty entertaining. Will you be doing the same, Christina?
Not today, Landry, but there was a lot going on at this year's Met Gala that left me a little bit speechless. Some of the more popular looks that I loved were from Anne Hathaway, Jenna Ortega, Billie Eilish, Giselle, Dua Lipa, and most of all, Sydney Sweeney. Her outfit from head to toe was so beautiful, and she definitely turned heads, including mine. There were also some really out there looks this year too, some deciding to come dressed as cats to pay homage to Karl Lagerfeld's cat, Choupette. Doja Cat did it with prosthetics, which is kind of cool if I'm being honest, but her meowing in interviews was where I drew the line. As for Jared Leto, he showed up in a realistic costume, which isn't new for him, but it was honestly kind of scary looking. Lil Nas X also came in full silver paint and bearded whiskers. I don't really like any of these feline looks, but hey, at least they're good at being attention grabbers. From the carpet to films, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was just released this morning in the United States, and there seems to be some mixed reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes, Sarah Wood wrote that, quote, no spoilers, but it was 2 hours and 30 minutes of pure torture that will live with me for a very long time. But Chris Holding wrote, quote, at times I was on the verge of tears, feeling everything that was happening on the screen. And then I was brought back from the brink with humor that, unlike the most recent Thor movie, was consistently well placed. Most reviews do seem to agree, though, that the character Rocket's story is told well, but the rest, especially comedic timing, seems to be up in the air. Here's a clip from the trailer that might help you decide.
Whoever it was that you were in love with, it sounds more like her.
Her? That's ridiculous. Do not bring me into this.
Knock it off!
What? Just never noticed how black your eyes were.
They were replaced by my father as a method of torture.
He picked a pretty set.
From what I can see, it looks maybe a little bit forced on the humor, but I still need to watch the movie before I can make any real judgments. On that note, back to Parker and Landry at the desk.
Thanks, Christina. I'm looking forward to seeing the new Guardians movie and for sure hearing that soundtrack.
Yes, the music is one of my favorite parts. And speaking of music, last month it was announced that the Rushing Middle School Band was selected to perform at the 77th Annual Midwest Clinic in Chicago. Coleman Meyer meets with these middle school students to learn more about this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
The Midwest Clinic in Chicago is the largest music education clinic in the world, hosting over 18,000 global attendees every year. And this year, Prosper ISD's very own Rushing Middle School Symphonic Winds were invited to attend the 2024 clinic.
So we never really intended for this to be like our goal. This was never the goal. It was just, always get better every day. That was the name of the game for us. And so for us, this is just the process. These students are playing, I would say high school level literature. And so we started the recording process, played through them a few times, got our best recording, and submitted that for the Midwest application.
While getting invited to Midwest may not have been their goal, it still came as a shock to not only their director, but also the students to learn that they were one of 4 schools in the world selected to perform their music at the clinic in December.
There are 4 bands that make it into Midwest out of the whole world, and our band made it.
I'm really shocked because this is a one in a lifetime sort of chance that you'd get, and it's just crazy to think that I'm a 7th grader and I get this opportunity. It's just really cool.
Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Coleman Meyer.
It is so cool to see that the Rushing students got the incredible opportunity to be one of only 4 bands in the world to perform at the Midwest Clinic.
Yeah, Prosper is always dominating in the arts and in sports. The Prosper football schedule has been released. Game time is next. It is spring playoff season in Prosper. Grace Escobel is in studio with this week's Game Time.
Thanks, Parker. The Prosper softball team competed in the bi-district round of playoffs. The Lady Eagles fell short to Plano West 13-3 and 10-8. Congratulations to the Lady Eagles for their exciting season. Speaking of the bi-district round of playoffs, the baseball team faced off against Flower Mound last night and won 8-6 in extra innings. The Eagles will go head-to-head with the Jaguars again tonight at the PHS baseball field at 7:30. Sticking with Prosper sports in the playoffs, the track team took part in the 6A Region 1 Championship. The boys team finished 3rd overall and the girls team finished 8th. The boys 4x4 is the regional runner-up. Lauren Lewis is the regional champ in the 200 meter and 400 meter. Prentice Sanders is the regional runner-up in the 400 meter and Lace Chaley is the runner-up in the 800 meter. Finally, Kayla Watson is the runner-up in the long jump. These 6 events will compete at the state meet on May 13th in Austin. In tennis news, Mateo Mejia and Nicole Steele competed in the state tennis tournament last week and finished 3rd in the state. Moving back to fall sports, the Prosper 2023-24 football schedule has been released. The Eagles will play 3 pre-district games against Trinity Euless, Saxe, and Rockwall. The Eagles faced off against all these teams last season and won every game. The first district game will be against Denton Guyer, the Eagles' only district loss last season. It will be exciting to see how next season plays out. Prosper is home to talented athletes all across the district. Madeline Wentz hits the green with Roger Middle Schooler golfer and national medalist Carson James to discover his ongoing journey to be on par with the pros.
The past 3 Masters tournament champions started playing golf before they were 7 years old. If an early start is part of what makes a national champion, Carson James, a 7th grader at Rogers Middle School, is well on his way.
Golf means a lot to me since it's been my whole life. I want to take it to at least the high school level, and if I do good in the high school level, I want to make it to college.
Golf is a family affair in Carson's house. His dad, Chris James, introduced his son to the sport as soon as he could walk. Carson joined the junior program at his home club, Stonebridge Ranch, and he now plays in North Texas PGA events.
Carson's always had a good swing, and that's the foundation that he's had. He's had good teaching, good fundamentals, and that's resulted in a good swing. He's always been a good athlete too. So you combine all those ingredients together, and if the player wants to work hard enough, and Carson loves to play, loves to practice, you've got something special potentially.
Carson's practice and dedication paid off with an invite to the drive, chip, and putt competition at the Augusta National Course in April, a competition hosted by the Masters for junior golfers. The road to Augusta wasn't easy. In fact, it took Carson 6 years to finally qualify.
He missed it by 1 point last year, and so it's extra special for him to win the invitation by 1 point this year. Incredible experience. I've never seen anything like it in junior golf. There were so many people out there watching, cheering. It was unbelievable. They treated him like a professional.
The experience was an unforgettable one for his entire family. Carson took home the third-place trophy for his age division and is ready to do it all again as local qualifiers begin this month. Carson even got to meet some of those pros he aspires to join one day. I'm Madeline Wentz, reporting for Eagle Nation News.
Carson wants to follow his dad's footsteps and play golf at the University of Oklahoma in college.
Which, Landry, we can both agree is a great place to start a journey.
Completely.
Boomer sooner. That's all we have for you today, Eagle Nation. Once again, I'm Parker Reynolds.
And I'm Landry Long. For everyone participating in prom this weekend, we hope you have an amazing and safe time. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day, and go Eagles.
Why did it freeze?